Okay, for the next assignment, we are going to do just a mini assignment in Photoshop to get you used to the program. So after you've uploaded everything you need to in Google Classroom, I want you to go to Photoshop. I want you to go to File and New, or if you're at this prompt from the very beginning, you'll see that you have saved photo, print, art and illustration, web, mobile, film. So we create things in different formats. In RGB, which is right here, that is anything for a screen, anything for an iPhone or a computer or TV. RGB is the color mode, is red, green, blue that we will create that in. When we go to print, we want to change this to CMYK because our printers read in cyan, which is C, magenta, yellow, and K is for black. This is very, very, very important when we are designing. If we have a client that comes in and tells us we need our logo in CMYK for a business card, and we need it in RGB to use it, or we need it for our website, we have to convert those colors. For instance, if we send our royal blue for our school to the print shop and we just say royal blue, RGB, our computers will try to translate that to the CMYK color code, and 9 times out of 10 we will get a print back that is royal purple. That's because the color codes are different. So if we're going to print, it is for CMYK. If it is anything for a screen, iPad, iPhone, TV, web, it is going to be RGB. This is where you will change it. There's other places to change it once you're into Photoshop. We'll get into that soon. But if, for instance, we're saying set up a print document that is tabloid size, legal size, or letter size, this is where we would make those adjustments. We can title this layer blending modes, and then you can put your last name. And since I've got it in print, I'm going to go ahead and change it to CMYK, and I'm going to hit create. So I have a new artboard created. If your layers are not up, you will go to Windows Layers. You will hear us say this 1,000 times, but Windows Layers, that's the first thing you want to do. I like to have mine out and open because we end up, once we get into working with projects, you have a lot of layers to look at, and it's easier if to navigate your layers if you can see all of them. So right now I am going to make a new layer. So I have my layer panel open. I'm going to navigate down to this plus sign, and I am going to make a rectangle to go across my artboard. So if you come all the way, I'm on my toolbar, if you come all the way down, right now mine is on the ellipse tool. You can change it to all of these. So if for some reason you do custom shape and you're like, I don't have a rectangle tool, you do. You just have to click and hold on it for a second, and then your other tools will pop out. So if you click rectangle, and mine does a little different. So I'm going to make my rectangle, but you see how big it is? If yours does this, you can use 2 fingers to zoom out, 2 fingers to zoom in. Hold shift and you can size your rectangle to your artboard. so I just zoomed back in. I'm holding shift again, and it'll snap to my artboard. I'm going to go to my move tool to get off of my rectangle. If you want to change the color of it, you can double click your rectangle, like the actual on your layer right here where it's all black. Double click it. This is your color slider, and you can say I want to do a blue color. I can pick all these different shades of blues and still change it if I wanted to. That one's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to keep that one there. I'm going to make another new layer. I'm going to make another rectangle. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to hold shift now, and mine still doesn't work, so I'm still going to have to alter it. So I'm holding shift. I need to snap it to my artboard. And you'll find in Illustrator and Photoshop, and this is what's frustrating to me, in Illustrator, you hold shift to keep the proportions correct. In Photoshop you do not, so it's backwards. And when you're working, I work with both of them simultaneously, depending on design. So going back and forth, you kind of get, sometimes you will get confused on which program you're using and what you need to select. All right, so we have the next layer up. Let's change this color. I'm going to do a minty green. And remember, you just double click here. If I wanted to rename these, I would double click this and rename it layer 1 navy. I can rename this mint. Okay. Now I want you to go back to Google Classroom because I want you to know how to download and upload a JPEG for Photoshop. So you'll go to this file for Photoshop. It says Moon with a file extension JPG, and that is a JPEG. So this is from Unsplash. This is not copyright. It's high resolution, but when we have images like this, you come over to 3 dots. You're going to open in a new tab. You're going to click the download button, and it will download. And you can see it preview on my computer. But for Photoshop, you're going to want to click back into your Photoshop app at the bottom. You're going to go to File, Open, and then go to your downloads. I've got to search for mine because I have too many. And then select your moon and hit open. So it's going to open on its own tab. You see, this is the tab. This is the tab we were just working in. And then I have my moon over here. Instead of pulling and dragging, come over to your toolbar. You have your move tool. Then you have your rectangular marquee tool. You're going to select your rectangular marquee. You're going to start at the top left and then click and drag with your other finger and select this whole picture. Once you see, these are called the dance. Once you see those all around your picture, Command C, click back to your layer blending modes, and then Command V as in Victor for paste, and it will paste it into this. But you can already see that you can only see part of the picture because the picture is so big. If you hit Command T, Okay, now you can see how big the bounding box is and how big the picture is. You want it to fit on your artboard, so you're going to hold shift and take that bottom right corner and size it up. You can click your move tool to get off of the bounding box. So next, once you have this done, I want you to click and drag this layer between your mint layer and your navy layer. Okay. So right now it's just a mint layer. We talked about blending layers earlier, or blending modes. It is at the top of your layers panel where it says normal. Right now it's normal. Your opacity of this layer is at 100%. You can adjust this often. The fill layer is the fill of the text or the fill of an object that's on your layer panel. So this is an opacity, but it's within a shape or a text. This is the opacity of your whole image. Blending modes are layers of transparency. So as you start going through these, you'll see that you can start seeing your other layers below through different transparencies that are already pre-programmed into Photoshop. So you pick the one that you like the best. This one's nice, but kind of liking this one. All right, so I have hard light blending layer on the mint layer. That way it is blending with this layer because it has built-in opacities on this, and I can see my below layers. I'm going to add a new layer, and then I'm going to navigate down to my text box. And there are two different types of text. There's point text, and there's point type and area type. So if I come over here and I simply just click, it's a different, we'll just use this one, and I type I'm going to zoom in so you can see. There's literally a point at the beginning of this text. So this is point text, point type. So when I go to adjust my text box, for Photoshop, it will keep the proportions. If you hold shift, it distorts it. You do not want to do that. You never want to distort your fonts. If you do area type, this is when you click and you drag out a text box, and you'll see all this text, this lorem ipsum. This is a placeholder text. It allows you to, if you're doing an advertisement and you have just a select area of where you need to put information, it lets you resize your font, fix it, alter it with, you can alter it up here with your justifications, left justification, center justification, right justification. And in area type flows with your text box. So if I make this smaller, it flows with it. And if you remember when I clicked on this one, it doesn't flow with my text box. It just gets bigger or smaller depending on text box. This one, whoops, I need to click my T again. now that I have my text box up, you can see it flowing. Now, lorem ipsum literally means placeholder text in Latin. And that's simply what it is. It's just a placeholder text, because sometimes as designers, we are not given the information that we need to include in ads or whatever we are creating, but we will know how we want it organized. So if I know I have a text box, this dimensions, I know that I need to make this fit in here. So it's just a placeholder text. You can change it, at any time. It's just for you to see how it works. If you want to change the color of the text, you're going to come back down to your text tool. Up here is your options bar, and like I said in the previous video, any tool you click, this is going to change. So right now I have my text tool clicked, and I have my fonts. I can put it in italicized if I want. I can change the size, the justification, which we looked at a second ago, and the color. So if I wanted to match these colors, I could play around with my different colors. Click this one, come up here. But you can also put blending modes on your text, which really comes in handy when you're doing a strong typography graphic and you want it to stand out. And remember hierarchy. So you want your title first, and then this is like your sub information. So you have all of these layers. You have your placeholder, your name, one of your rectangles, your moon, and then your other rectangle. It's showing layer organization. It's showing blending modes.